Cool. Look, welcome everybody to the Marketing Roundtable. What we do here is we do a deep dive for a short amount of time on a specialist subject, and then we're going to throw it into the room to have a discussion. The specialist subject today is going to be around lead generation and lead generation 101, really, for expert businesses. Those are people that are kind of service sector, sell their expertise, your coaches, your consultants, your course creators, your marketeers, your service providers, essentially expertise, when you're selling your expertise. So lead generation is really, really important when you're selling your expertise, and the ability or the necessity to book in, say, sales meetings requires a lead. It requires someone to put their hand up and say, hey, yeah, I'm kind of interested in the stuff that you do. I like what you're saying, and perhaps you might be able to make me do something or help me to do something quicker, better, faster, cheaper, whatever it is that your service is providing. That's what this is all about, to create that lead, to create that little hand up. Well, I used to always talk, one of those business networking meetings I used to go to at silly o'clock in the morning, perhaps people still go to those where you drink awful coffee and have crap sausages and do get up and do your 60 seconds in front of everybody at sort of 6 a.m. and you're all kind of there tired. I used to say that when I did mine, I used to say I get the phone ringing and inbox pinging with hot new inquiries when I was running my marketing agency. And actually that inbox pinging and phone ringing is vital. That's the leads that come in. That's the inquiries. And in the digital age, there's never been a better time to be able to establish assets out there that get better reach, better awareness, and therefore will take inquiries, get inquiries for you. And that's the only way to scale, to be able to scale through an abundance of opportunity crashing against the shores of your business. And we're going to just look at the fundamentals of that today, the lead generation 101, just kind of a starter's guide to the important things that you need to build. So as I said, just before we hit recording, this may be a recap for some of our pros in the room. But if you are transitioning, thinking about doing something new, or even just can't understand why you're not getting as many inquiries as perhaps you might have got previously, then some of these are great little refreshers. If you're starting out, this is perfect for you as well. Cool. Well, let me jump over to the presentation. Great to see you all today, by the way. Really fantastic. And let's just jump on to here. So the Marketing Roundtable, here we go. Welcome. So lead generation 101 for expert businesses. So the goal of a successful lead generation program is to generate as many qualified leads as possible. So what do we mean by that? Well, look, basically, potential clients that fit the defined target customers that your business is after. That's the right type of people. That's a qualified lead, right? So there's sort of 5 steps I'm going to take you through. The first step, really, when you're thinking about this, is to understand exactly what the proposition is. And if you are confused about what you sell, then your customers are never really going to know what it is that you do. What is the peg that they are going to hang their coat from, or you hang your coat from, when people think about you? Do they think about you as someone that can help them to do X, Y, and Z, or are they a bit confused about what is it that you help, right? So you've got to really know what the pain is that you solve for clients. At the $1 Million Sprint, we help people to be able to get to $1 million in revenue. That's the pain that we solve. It's a scale pain. What's the target? What's the result? Well, $1 million in revenue, right? Awesome. When I had my boiler servicing business, which I was just mentioning before here, it was called Boiler Servicing 24/7. What was the one thing that we really lead with? Well, servicing boilers, maintaining boilers, heating boilers for people's houses. When I had my digital marketing agency, we were a lead generation agency. And therefore, what was the pain that we help people to get? More leads, right? So you can kind of see how that works out. So if you can't articulate very simply what it is that you do and how you solve that pain, that is a massive issue. And by really knowing that, you can actually start to create lovely graphics and designs and actually articulate it. Let me just show you the graphic that we have for the $1 Million Sprint. And many of you that would have been to strategy sessions with me would have seen this. We only present this to people that come and book in with strategy sessions. And you can see at the top is the Hall of Fame. That's our 84K per month. That's the million in revenue, right? And you can see where people start. They start in the preliminaries, and there's activities that people have to do to be able to get to heat 1, 5K per month, heat 2, 10K per month. So you can actually see that there's a nice little journey that takes people from where they start and how all the way through the stages. And this is vital. All of our clients that we work with should be doing some sort of diagram around this. And actually, let me just come out of this and just jump onto a blackboard quickly and just say, when you think about this, gang, when you are looking to think, well, actually, I like what Richard said about this, and I think that this idea about solving a pain and helping people is a good idea. Well, then just get a piece of paper and just write the result at the top of it and go, well, actually, what is the result? And so, Sam, I'm going to pick on you. I'm not going to pick on you, but I'm going to bring you into the conversation here. Sam, when you kind of think about how you help clients, what is the result that you help to get clients?
So it's usually a successful career transition.
Great. And what's your business?
So I help people to move from some kind of career change, potentially, maybe one that they're wanting to make, or maybe one that's been pushed on them, potentially a redundancy, for example. And I help them to move as quickly as possible into the right next job. It's not just get a job, it's get them into the right next chapter of their career.
Fantastic. I love it. So Sam is really clear on this. So the point is, the result is to get people into, you know, the next job, to be able to get the right next job. And you can really start to help people to understand exactly what that top of the trophy is. It's the right next job. It's a new career. It's a transition. It's brilliant. It's yes, really, really positive. But then actually you say, well, where are you now? You know, when you speak to your clients, right? And so when you actually say that, they go, well, actually they're, you know, they're overworked, underpaid, unhappy, whatever it is. You can start to really help people to understand that. And so to draw out that diagram, you just do this lovely little wiggly diagram, like that, or wiggly line. And now you've got a journey, and that journey had different checkpoints. So you can see mine, I had heat 1, heat 2, heat 3, gold medal race, Hall of Fame, right? Sam might have, you know, checkpoint 1, 2, you know, 3, whatever it is, 4. We all can do this. We can all know that actually, if we know where people are now, and we know the result that we want to be able to help and we want to articulate to our clients, and we can do a 4-step process. When we were the lead generation agency, we had an 11-step process. You know, we did everything from website optimization to ads to SEO to YouTube, and that was the process. And so these beautiful different steps, to say that's, you know, 7 steps in this scenario, those 7 steps can become your methodology diagram. So now you've got a 7-step process that's a methodology diagram that you can say, hey, this is our 7-step process. This is the journey that you take to go to get to result. And people can look at that and go, oh, okay, I've got this pain. I'm unhappy. I'm not happy in my job. For example, if you're Sam, I'm you know, feeling underappreciated. And Sam is an expert in getting me to this result, you know, the right next job. Awesome. Okay. And he's got this lovely journey map and this methodology. It makes sense. I can see how that could work. Okay. I'm willing to go on that race with him. I'm willing to go on that journey. And so therefore, just that diagram is all you need to be able to solve and present the solution that you help clients with. This is vital, gang. This is really vital, because you can see how you can get crystal clear when you talk to people, and it's not overcomplicated. It's simply a 1-slider, right? Here is my one, right? Now, yes, right, there's a lot of different bits on there, but look, guys, going to $1 million in revenue, right? there's a few little hops you got to take, you know, trust me. And so, but the point being is you go, well, actually, to get to 5K in revenue, you know, build out an info swap. Okay, generate some traffic, formalize your sales process, launch your flagship products, right? So actually, when you start to talk to people about that, they go, okay, well, I can see that I could help, you know, with your help, I could get to do that bit. And then we'll optimize the traffic, you know, so, all right, how do you optimize the traffic? Oh, okay, you get more there for less budget, whatever it is. And you can start to see how this works forward, okay? And so people will start to go, well, that makes logical sense. And I feel like, you know, I could maybe get there, but with your help, I'd get there faster. And you could therefore take this and be able to sell this as a package. All you need is that. And so when we start to think about step one, understand exactly what the proposition is and solve a pain and do it well. If you have that diagram, not only will your customers know exactly what the proposition is, do you know what the irony is that so will you. And sometimes when you're a small business, actually really understanding what your proposition is half the battle, isn't it? So that's step one. Get yourself a nice little diagram. Step two, identify your target audience. And look, trust me, you would have heard this. I know you guys have heard this before. Crikey, you might have even heard it from me. I know we've done a session completely on audience, but the riches are in the niches, gang. The more that people feel comfortable that actually you are not only an expert in the journey, but you're an expert in the journey for a particular type of person. And we all get this niche claustrophobia. I kind of describe niche claustrophobia as everybody kind of getting concerned. Oh, don't pigeonhole me. Don't stick me into a small space. I can help everybody and I can be everything to everyone. And we all know that if you're everything to everyone, you're nothing to no one, right? And so that claustrophobia bit is really difficult. And actually sometimes a niche can feel really heavy and drag you down, right? But what is also heavy and really difficult to kind of move? Well, think about a cannonball, right? So let's all think about us holding a cannonball. Now, how are you going to make a cannonball go far? How are you going to launch a cannonball up into the echelons of $1 million+ type business? Well, throwing it yourself, you can see shot putters throw something that's relatively small and they only go dump and it just falls about 10 meters away from them. Whereas a cannonball, if you put it inside a cannon, a very small, tight, dark place, that's like a niche. And that small, dark place, that cannon, is the thing that then you light the fuse and then the cannonball goes, right? And that's what a niche is. It's just once you light that fuse and you actually stick it into something small, then it really works. And so if you actually think about my previous thing here, if I say, oh, well, I help all businesses be able to do this. If you're a shopkeeper, if you're a retail outlet, if you're a, whatever it is, I can help you do that. So I help expert businesses, that service sector, people that sell their expertise. Why? Because building out an info swap has got a certain trait to be able to do that right for expert businesses. Why should you have a flagship product and why should you sell one product? Could you imagine me telling a retail shop owner to sell just one product, right? Then they're going to be like, well, yeah, what people are going to come in for one thing. That's not going to happen, right? So that's where this whole thing can be tailored towards just the right target audience. And so for you, who is that niche? My business, originally Yomp, my first business that I took to $1 million in revenue, my marketing agency, my lead generation agency, we were everything to everyone. I was a graphic designer that could do business cards. I could create printouts for brochures. I could do websites. I could do hosting. I could do God knows everything. Until this strapping young silver fox came into our room and his name is Colin Sale. Great guy, amazing person, really was one of the first kind of clients that also kind of mentored me as a client, strangely. And, I was in my 20s then, had the start of a business, and we were, it was doing all right. But he came and said, look, your biggest thing that you do great at is help people to generate leads. That's the thing you're passionate about, the phone ringing, inbox me. Why don't we just work together to be able to create the perfect lead generation package for my business? And his business was a 50 staff business, IT support company, based locally, owner operated, and he was a great in front of camera guy. So he was great for doing videos. And we crafted this lead generation package for him, working with his guidance to make the perfect package. And then it really worked and he got tons of leads. His business did really well. In fact, he sold that business and then he brought us into 2 other businesses that he was on the board of, and we started working with them. More also, he started to refer us to other type of clients that were like Colin, and we started to then get a reputation within helping IT businesses and also coaches doing the lead generation, right? And also, whenever, this is Colin here in one of our meetings that are back in the business, this is him sitting here. Now, other people in this room were not Collins because they weren't that type of demographic, but Andrew was, and Andrew was just a random, wasn't random, obviously we invited him along to this pitch, but he happened to meet Colin in the mixer. He was sat next to him, and we just knew instantly that Andrew was the right type of person because he had a similar business to Colin. And of course, then he brought our package off the back of it because we knew that he was our target audience and our product was the best for him. And so it's kind of that birds of a feather flock together. And if you start to sell to all of those, that type of demographic, then that they tell others, and then before you know it, you're scaling, right? So really get that right. Cool. 3, you want to make sure that you understand your sales funnel, right? So there's no other simple way of being able to talk to people about sales funnel than presenting this graphic. And many of you would have seen this graphic before, but the point being is you've got to do the top 3 things, and then don't forget about the bottom 3 things, because that's almost helps to reinforce your sales, right? So lead generation, awareness. People need to become aware of you, right? But someone becoming aware of you isn't a lead. 75% of a buying decision happens before you even know their names, before they even become a lead. I mean, think about that. If you're going into buy a new car and you see you think, oh, I'd like to go get the new Range Rover or whatever it is, and then suddenly you start to only see Range Rovers coming towards you on the road. You start to say, oh, okay, that's interesting. All right, you see that, and you go, well, I like the blue, what's the black one? And then you see it on Top Gear, and then you go and look at it on the websites, etc. But nobody knows that it's you that's interested in that Range Rover. And then you say, right, okay, yeah, I'm really going to do this. Actually, this weekend, I'm going to go start to look around some garages. And you go and look around some garages, and only then do you actually then give your details in, if you are serious, and start to talk to someone. 75% of that buying decision is done, and then all they've got to do is kind of match the right deal up to your expertise. And that's the same with expert businesses, service sectors. They will look at your website, they will look at your YouTube, they will look at you, listen to your podcast. What are you doing? 1, to make them aware, but then 2, to help them to consider if you're the expert for them. And if you don't have one, first of all, you've got to go and reach out to people to make them aware of you. Maybe it's LinkedIn outreach, maybe it's Facebook ads, maybe it's something along those lines. Even Facebook ads is like traffic ads. You don't even know what that traffic is, right? And then you move them into a consideration piece. And that consideration piece is where you hopefully can help them to give you their email address and contact details in exchange for some value. Could be as simple as an ebook download. Could be something like this, an event where people have to register to attend the event. Could be something like a pre-recorded webinar, but they have to give their email address. Could be like a 5-day challenge. Whatever that is, you need to make sure that you've got that in there, so you've got the lead and you warm them up. And at the right time, then you open the door for convert. Now, convert is where you bring people from becoming a lead. So we kind of say this is MQL. What MQL is, a marketing qualified lead. And then you got SQL, which is a sales qualified lead. And so this is big business talk, but actually if we appreciate that in a small business environment, MQL is kind of people turning up to events or watching a pre-recorded webinar, whatever it is. SQL is when they say, yes, actually, I would like to come along to your sales meeting. I'd like to find out more about or I'd like to book a product demo. I'd like to actually talk to you a little bit more about my business and how we might be able to work together. That's a sales qualified lead. And that's the convert bit. Once people convert, this is then the deliver part. So in deliver, you delight them on the way in, have a great onboarding, make people excited, happy, etc. Really, really kind of work that onboarding. And then gamify, so people win. So the gamification piece is when people are delighted at what you do, and I'm excited, yes, okay, great onboarding. You then can gamify it. So you create a little game so people win at your business. So that could be, so for example, that journey map, the 5-step process to get up to that result, that's a game. And if you put little trophies, etc., or give people rewards for going through each stage, great, then they're winning at your game. And then people that are delighted and winning will then tell other people about your product. And that's where the advocacy piece comes in. So they will then help you to find other clients. That's what I was talking about Colin inviting us into other people that were in his network because he was an advocate. So you can see how delivery also then helps lead generation because it creates advocates, which are the best type of leads, right? Get me? Cool. Right. Penultimately, what gets measured gets improved. So now we know, what we're selling, who we're selling to, and we've got a funnel. Then we need to start measuring this funnel. This is an example of a dashboard that we send out to, or our clients work, right? So you can see along the bottom, there's loads of different tabs for different things. So if they're working on LinkedIn, there's a tab for LinkedIn. If they're working on Instagram, there's a tab for Instagram. And ultimately it comes back into something along this lines where you're looking at what the total leads are that your business is getting. And then if you're bidding people to book into a weekly call, say it's a weekly moment, then you'll be tracking that. And then in blue, you can put what the targets are next to it. So if you've got a spreadsheet, a dashboard like this, if you go, well, actually, I want to go and get 40, in this example, 40 people booking into your weekly moment in a week. And then I want to be able to get 20 of those 40 to actually attend. And you start tracking it, you can start to see if you're up or down against what your target is at the beginning of the year. And so you can make projections for what your 1 year goal is. So our clients are projecting at the end of this year, they already know what they're targeted in terms of how many leads they should generate, how many people should be coming to their weekly moments, their calls, how many sales they should get. And actually, therefore, they're projecting how many strategy sessions they would need to be able to get how many sales meetings they should get. And so if they know, for example, every 5 strategy sessions they do, they get 2 sales, then they can actually then invest at the top of the funnel to make sure that the funnel produces those 5 strategy sessions. And that's where your business becomes a machine. That's where you can actually start to turn the dials up and down based upon how you're looking in the week. And if you're going week by week, like our clients do, then they could be going, great, this week I'm above target, that's cool. So I'm not needing to change anything. Next week might be like, oh, crikey, I'm going down target. I need to maybe ramp up some volume. Or for example, like I was away for 2 weeks doing Disney, as you guys might have known a couple of weeks ago now. And so the 4 weeks ago, before the 2 weeks of Disney, I cranked up the volume because I wanted to get the sales in before I went away, and cranked up the volume now. So I want to get the sales after I got back to be able to then mitigate the dip from me being away. And that's a weakness in my business, don't get me wrong, because I'm still involved in my sales. I haven't outsourced my sales completely to, or be able to delegate it completely, but because I like to qualify people coming in. But it means I've got a machine that I can dial up and down to flatten off any dip because of me being out of the business. So that's important, right? Cool. So what gets measured gets improved, right? So you need to be able to measure. That says 4, but this should be number 5. And this is the final piece that I want to talk about today. And I'm going to expand it out to a little bit more conversation. Look, imposter syndrome, massive, I think, issue with lead generation. And the issue is that if you have always got business from word of mouth, and you've won business from people, introducing you, you've done a good job, you get that interest, there is a glass ceiling. I have clients all the time that goes, oh, I'm so lucky, I don't have to actually win any work or do any lead generation. All my business comes from word of mouth. And that's basically saying me that all of your business and your growth, it just reaches a glass ceiling. And that glass ceiling essentially says that you can't go any further unless other people continue to do the marketing for you. And that's great, because actually every business has a level of word of mouth. Every business that does well, right? Okay, obviously word of mouth can work the other way if you're not good at what you're doing, but I'm going to presume you're all great at what you do and get the results that you can help for clients, right? So all businesses operate in that slice. That's great. That's actually what kind of keeps the lights on, right? But actually, if you're interested in creating a true growth curve and true wealth for yourself, and be able to ultimately also remove yourself completely from the business, create an asset, whatever it is that your plan is for your business, even if it's just because you're only doing 5K at the moment and you personally like to take home 10K after tax, most of the time you can't do that just through word of mouth. And you need to have these cycles going. And a lot of people go, oh, but this marketing stuff looks scary. Should I be on TikTok? Should I be on YouTube? Oh, I don't like being in front of camera. Oh, I don't like doing this. And I understand. But the only way to solve that is through taking those tiny steps forward and actually not tagging yourself out before you've even tried a lot of this stuff, right? And don't get me wrong, I don't think people, most people on this call shouldn't be on YouTube. I'm sorry, shouldn't be on TikTok, because they're better channels for people to be focusing on. They should only focus on one social media channel and get great at it. But most of the people that I see before they come into my programs have confidence issues in lead generation, have confidence issues in terms of what they're looking to achieve for their business, worry about selling their expertise, but not actually being an expert, getting found out for not actually being an expert. And it's not a case of being found out. It's a case that you genuinely are an expert in your piece. You genuinely are an expert in your sphere of influence. And if you have the confidence and the drive to be able to say, do you know what, I'm just going to keep on going to the coalface and keep on putting out content and keep on delivering my message and keep on working into my audience, then that audience will start to see you as being the expert, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you go, well, I feel like I have some expertise, I want to tell the world I've got some expertise, the world sees that I'm talking about expertise, the world therefore sees me as the expert, and therefore I become the expert. That's the right cycle of self-fulfilling prophecy. It's the right cycle of the imposter syndrome. It stops the imposter syndrome. Whereas if you do it the opposite way, to go, I don't think I am the expert, I feel an imposter, I then put out stuff that I don't believe in, or don't put out anything itself, the world doesn't see you at all, therefore, as being the expert, so therefore you're not the expert. And so the cycle works in the other way. So producing content, going out consistently, actually feeling confident in your message is the best way to overcome it. So just remember that goes all the way into lead generation as well as delivery, etc. So it is really important. Cool. Look, guys, that's let me just come back to here. I'm going to open up to questions. Great to see you guys, by the way. The point is that I want to take a lot of these ideas and work with you guys to maybe look at how you could actually put some of these ideas that I've discussed today into practice. And in part one, we have the strategy session that we book into a free strategy session. And in part one, we talk about where are you now? And actually look at where you want to be, and actually where you would like to be in 12 months. Actually think about your journey, where you want to be. In part two, we talk about what campaigns and processes will get you there. So what campaigns can we actually put together for you specifically can get you there? And then part three, we talk about, is there a way that $1 Million Sprint can help? So I'm just going to share this link before I jump into questions now. And the link is here, which is a link to our strategy session. We run these. I'm putting into chat now, and I'd love to see you guys book onto those. But we run these strategy sessions to really help pick out some of these ideas once a week. And it's always on a Wednesday lunchtime. And you can see here, Wednesday lunchtime here, Wednesday lunchtime there, and yeah, into May, right? So just once a week. They're limited to a few people per session. So do jump onto those and do grab those seats now. So that's in the strategy session. And we would love to then start to talk about some of these ideas and specifically how they work with you, and spend a bit more time with you to actually thrash out your journey, your funnel, your process. And ultimately, we want to start to look at how a process or a lead generation diagram such as this could actually be implemented into your business, so you can then get clients working and joining you on demand, as opposed to just through word of mouth. Cool. All right. Back into the room, gang. Great to see you all, by the way. So let's get some questions from the room. Thoughts? Go for it, Alex.
There's some questions in the chat, but my question was on the spreadsheet at the bottom. Is there other spreadsheets? It says day, week,
yeah. So I can show you a bit. So this is the spreadsheet that we sent clients to work with, and at the bottom you'll see that there's different tabs in there, from value bundles to 5-day challenges to webinars to Facebook groups, etc. And the point of this is that through the training and through how we work with clients, we show them how to get all this data and actually how to improve these data. But we also say to clients, I don't want you to be working on every single tab, because we have the power of one. If anybody had seen that presentation we did before, and I'll actually re-link the power of one into the chat in a bit. But the point is that you should have one traffic position, so one awareness. So say it's LinkedIn, so you should only be doing LinkedIn. One consideration is to say that's your weekly moment. You know, say you're doing a webinar, then it's one consideration and therefore one sales meeting, which say could be a strategy session, right? So you would only have 3 tabs that you'd be working on. So you might not be working on a 5-day challenge, for example, but some people will, which is why on our one here, that's got 5-day challenges as an option. So our clients will go through this, they'll use it for themselves, they'll delete the tabs that they're not working on, and then they'll start working on those tabs. And those tabs will start to look potentially like, let me just stop share and just show you one, just to make sure it's okay to share. You then start to work these diagrams. Hang on, I'm just gonna show you this. So you can then have color codes to see if you're going above or below target. So let me just look at this. Okay, good. So let me just do the reshare. So once you've got this rocking and rolling and you've got targets, then you can say, well, look, here's, you know, how many group members you've got, and here's the target. Here's the active members, new posts, comments, reactions, etc. And you can start to go green and red, green and red, green and red. So you know when you're on target, off target, etc., and work it through, right? So once you're measuring it, then you can see if you're improving it, and of course also holding people accountable, Alex. So if you were running, if it was just you, fine, great. So you've got you're working, you know, you've got to measure this stuff first, because we talk about try it, nail it, automate it, delegate it. So once you've tried this stuff and you're nailing it, so you tried a Facebook group and you're nailing it, then you automate as much as possible. So you could automate new members going into your outreach and emails to them, etc., which we show clients how to do. And then ultimately you can delegate it to someone to be able to actually manage that Facebook group for you. And so then you work on other stuff, right? And so once you delegate someone to work on that, then those targets in the green and reds, therefore, are the person's targets, and you'll be able to have a meeting with them to see, are they green or are they reds, and therefore do we need to do something to be able to improve that, get it better, right? And so that's how you can start to work those systems, and that's why what's getting measured gets improved, and that's how you can manage people. Cool. All right. Back into the room, gang. Do you say there were some questions?
Yeah.
Some further questions here. Did I miss those? Let me just.
Yeah, about journey map, John. Oh, darling John.
Darling John. Okay. So John's talking about the. Where are you, John? Are you on the call? He's muted, so he's probably talking. Oh, okay. You are there, John. Go for it. Do you want to ask the question?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I was just saying that the journey map has been my biggest stumbling block. That's where I've been really struggling, is to figure out what that journey is going to be for my clients and how to achieve that. Well, I'm not sure if that's necessarily a question for you. It's more for me to try and figure out that's where I've blocked myself, is figuring out like how I'm taking people along that journey, how I want to take people along that journey. So yeah. So.
I think a lot of our clients will be expert clients, will generally be selling a thing that maybe it's a journey they've personally been on themselves, and that sometimes, you know, can be a real help to go, well, actually, how did I get to this result that I'm, you know, an expert on, and therefore what were the stepping stones that I had to take to be able to get there? And sometimes you've got to go really deep to find the gold of those stepping stones, but know that there are always stepping stones. And by knowing that, then you've got to actually say, well, actually, you know, what comes first? What do you need to do first to be able to get to the next step, And it's purely a exercise of some of our clients in the training that we talk to people is to get some Post-it notes, get a wall, and actually write on each Post-it note all the things that come into your mind, and just stick them all over the wall. And then move those into a logical order, and then bam, you've got a journey map, and you've got a system.
I've just been starting to do that in Trello, actually, weirdly enough. So from suggestions from you, because whiteboards and space is a bit of an issue for me. So I'm working on electronic space instead.
Then a Trello board's a perfect way of doing it.
Looks like you've got a couple of the questions in there as well, though. So in the chat. So
Wicked.
Yeah.
Okay, so who wants to go next? Who wants to, without me having to trawl through the chat, if you know you've put something in the chat, just unmute yourself and ask.
Hi, Richard. Good to see
Hello.
you. How you doing?
Good to see you, Angela. You're right.
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just put a question in. In fact, you've kind of half answered it, but I just wanted to say, first of all, we've had a strategy session before, wasn't in the place, still not quite in the place to be able to work with you, but I wanted to just say how valuable it was, because you told me what to change in my business before Christmas. I went and changed it. We've started to bring people in at the new price point. So we've validated that. So the whole kind of thing behind it has completely changed. And so we're bringing people in now at that new price point. So my question is you've actually kind of started to talk about it, this try it, nail it, automate it, delegate it bit, is now that I've validated at that new price point, and say I'm in the place where, and there might be several people here where you want to work with somebody like yourself, but you know that you are not quite at the place yet where that is going to be something that you could do, you could take on, or that next little piece, there's a gap in between, like you're starting to make that move. And there's this gap here between, for me, getting to a place where that next stage is, there's that automated bit, the bit that I can see that you do so well within $1 Million Sprint, is that bit where it starts to become automated and then obviously delegated out. How do you advise somebody, when I just said that question, the gap between you doing it all, you actually having to do that next stage yourself, and manage all of that in order to get to the stage where being in your program is going to be the next no-brainer, because there's almost that little bit of gap before it.
Well, first of all, congratulations, by the way, on implementing those things and getting rock and rolling. Look, clearly, there is the people that start with us. Some of them are not even nailing it, right? Some people start with us who have got brand new businesses and just understand that by fast tracking years of trial and error through an accelerator, and for people that don't know, it's a 12-month accelerator working with us. It's not like thousands a month, etc. It's what we would consider very well priced. If you want to know what that is, book in for that strategy session as we discussed before. So the accelerator helps you to go from where you are now to that 12-month goal. And not everybody wants to get to $1 million in revenue. Some of them want to get to 20 grand a month, 30 grand a month, etc. So we help to set those targets and work a plan for it. So that's kind of the thing that we're talking about here, whether or not you're ready for it. Now, I would say that even if you're starting a new business, we can really help you to make that jump. Now, when it comes to automation and the TNAD methodology, so try it, nail it, that nail it bit means that you've done everything manually and actually it's become a bit of a monster usually. Right. So for example, with Facebook groups, if you've got lots of people joining it and you're sending posts out and you're helping people and you're doing weekly moments and it is like a full-time job personally to keep your funnel full. And that's where the automation bit is so useful, because just give you really a simple idea of maybe that one and how this automation stuff can save hours of time. If for example, you're running a Facebook group, you can, go right. Whenever you've got a Facebook group, you can ask 3 questions, right? So 3 questions come in and you can say, one is, what type of business you are. 2 is, would you like a copy of our ebook? Gives your email. 3 is, would you like to find out more about the stuff that we do, right? So that's 3 questions, kind of classic questions that go in. But an automation can hoover up that information if they've left their email address, push it into your CRM, right? Your CRM will then send them an email with the ebook and says, great. And we'll tag them with, yes, they are interested, which we can create a task for you or your sales team to give them a call for the interested ones. The ones that are untagged, they just get the ebook. The ones that get the task and get the call. The ebook can then also have a warming up funnel. So you've got email 1, email 2, email 3. And so they automatically get triggered into this follow-up sequence. So one's ebook. One is like, how do you get on with the ebook? The next one could be, oh, did you know we do this weekly moment? This, Mark, say from our perspective, marketing roundtable. And then the other one is that here's like, you know, I don't know, it's a case study or something along those about people that are winning. Would you like a strategy session, right? So automatically what we've done here is we've got a follow-up sequence, an automatic email sequence. We've got strategy sessions getting booked here automatically. We've got people attending weekly moments automatically. You've got people that are reading ebooks. So you're going from just someone just finding your group or even if you could be running ads going to get people to join your group. You click one button here and then whoomph, all of this happens, and strategy sessions, you know, attendees, all of that is just click fingers, it happened. You've got to set it up first. You've got to know that these emails work. So that's to try it. So you're sending out emails to people, you're seeing the type of people you're running a group, but putting that into place is a massive time saver and a complete way of optimizing and speeding up your business and going faster. So it's more of a challenge to you, Andrew, really, to go, am I happy kind of spending another 6 months looking at what I'm doing now and going, I kind of know that where I want to be is over here? Or is it a case of going, well, actually, what if I just go, oh, stuff it, let's go over here quickly, because I know that the stuff that Richard talks about, I can see it happening already. So actually, if it was just turned up by 10, because remember, I see all clients every single day of the week, Monday to Friday, 10 till 11, to my drop-in clinic for my clients. It's a fact find. We help people to build out those campaigns. We help people to get unstuck. We constantly are helping them to be able to get further. Do I just want to go from there, or do I want to kind of do a bit of this for a while and then kind of get here and then go, right, now I'm ready for Richard to help me go there? And that's the piece, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think certainly, I think what you've just done is there's a push towards automation as part of that lead generation for me quicker. I think I've done a lot of manual lead generation for a long time. And sometimes personal situations don't preclude you can do a lot more of that anymore. But I think I think what you've done is there's just a little bit of closed the gap. And I think somebody's put in there about team of tech and a VA, etc. There's just, there's a little bit of a nudge that I need to move in towards that more sort of automated system that starts to move that into place.
We've got to remember that filling the gap with VAs and people that help this stuff, you've got to be the person that say, hey, I want you, VA, to be able to do this social media stuff for me. I want you, VA, to be able to help me do this. What are you briefing them? And what you're briefing them is what we create together. So the campaign that we put together for clients and this structure is the strategy. So we will do this one-to-one with our clients. This will be different for you. It'll be different for Sam. It'll be different for Morris. You all have a different strategy for how your business is going to take people from awareness all to convert. And then once we've got that, this is where you then start to bring VAs in. This is where you start to bring people in to be able to help to manage these bits. And what the comment there is basically taking TNAD and putting the D at the top. So it's delegate it, try it, nail it, automate it, is what's ultimately they're saying there. And it's the wrong way to do it. You've got to try it. You've got to nail it personally so you know how your systems work. Then you automate out all the humans because you're the best person to do that, because you know already, because you're nailing it, how to automate the humans. And only then do you bring the VAs in. The VA is the last thing that you do. You got to try it, nail it, automate, and then delegate it. Otherwise, what happens, you delegate a system that should be automated, and people are a lot more expensive than machines. And also, is the system even working? Because if you delegate it before you even nailed it, then you're just delegating something that wasn't working anyway. So it's just a cost.
Yeah, I've experienced that. So that makes total sense. But I just wanted to encourage anybody else here. I'm sure we'll be speaking soon, Richard. Encourage anybody else that actually it really already made a massive difference. Just taking the advice and actually implementing it makes a massive difference, actually, doesn't it?
It does. And thank you. I didn't mean to keep my finger on the pulse.
No, that's fine.
I do.
That's fine. I hear you.
Ask. Yes. Ask me when the right time to join the program is. It's probably always going to be the same answer, which is yesterday. But we'll settle with today if that's okay. Anyway, look, I'm sticking around for another 5 minutes. If you've got a dash, no problem at all. Really appreciate it. If you want to jump into that strategy session, obviously I implore you to do so. I put the chat into the if you're watching this on YouTube and on the replay, you'll be seeing in the comments below that there's a link into the strategy session there, so jump onto there. Thank you, by the way. I've got people that have booked into that already on this session, so I'll see you guys later. But if you're dashing, great. If you're not, I've got time for another question, so over to you.
Hello, Richard.
Hello.
Lovely. Hello. Lovely to see you. Welcome back.
Great to see you again.
Yeah. My question is, when and how do we share our journey map? Is it during consultation? Is it during? Can it be done through social media? Because I'm not sure about sharing it through social media because of competitiveness. So what are your suggestions? How and at what point to share our journey map with the candidates?
So journey maps are great social media content because you can show it. But the point being is that I only give mine out to people that come to strategy sessions because I do strategy sessions. I show them our landing page that talks about it. It's got the journey map. It's a way of them to further consider us, and we walk them through that in the strategy session and how it applies to them. I don't necessarily want people to be, I could have it as a publicly available page maybe, but my website, and this is kind of more of a strategy. If you actually look at our $1 Million Sprint website, the whole point of it is that it's all about the stuff that helps our clients, right? So this is our thesis and process. So it's about how we got to $1 million in revenue. We've done it twice with 2 different businesses, and it gives a step-by-step process on how you can do it, right? 9-step process. This is join our free Facebook group. This is come along to the marketing roundtable. This is have a strategy session. And then these are all our lovely reviews, right? At no point is there a buy our stuff page. There is literally nowhere on this website that says buy, this is what the $1 Million Sprint is about. This is all about getting people from awareness into consideration. Once you join our Facebook group or come along to our roundtable, then we'll say, look, you should come to the strategy session. And then once you come to the strategy session, then you're in the right position to be thinking about perhaps joining us. I don't necessarily want people that have never met me, seen me, heard my stuff to be coming to strategy sessions, because it's not about that. I want to add value before I ask anything in return. And so your website should be a reflection of that methodology of value. It's like the Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if you've ever read the jab, 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 right hook. It's all about give, and then ask for the sale if it's the right time for them, if it's the right thing for them. And so that website is a reflection of how we operate, give. And so that would be the same perhaps for you, give. And then that customer journey map is the asset that you use to then go and sell. So that probably solves the worrying about your competitors looking at it.
Thank you. Lovely.
Cool. No drama. All right. Well, look, thank you so much again. I look forward to seeing you guys either on a strategy session or maybe this time next week at 9 o'clock every Wednesday UK time. Big love. Take care. And I will see you on the flip side, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Cheers. Bye.